Hello everyone and welcome to my weekly journal number 3. I am so glad that for now I managed to film this video every week because it's really fun to share with you what I have done during this week, and of course to share with you maybe some tips. And I'm thinking, because last week we did that questions and answer, maybe to do it again, even if I'm thinking not to, if I will get also too many questions, maybe not to answer all of them in one single video, because last time it was a bit too long. But yeah, the first thing what I managed to do this week is to put the crochet hooks from the giveaway of the weekly journal number 1. So I prepared everything, I packed everything, and now they are ready to go to the post office. I'm filming this on Thursday, so by the time when you will see this, it's already, they will be already in the post office. So now I think I can say the winners. So I have Lara here, I have Carla, I have Echo Cromwell, and Adina, which is my Romanian girl. And I'm so happy that I'm able to send one first crochet hook to Romania, because there they are not really easy to get. I have also a shipment to US for Echo Cromwell and South Africa for Carla, and I hope that they will get really soon. The post office told me that they might be delayed in this destination, but I hope that everything will be fine in the end. So yeah, this, when you are watching, girls, these are already in the post office. What I did this week, I can't wait for October to come. Wake me up when September ends, like the song, because until October I have 4 projects that I need to work, and I cannot show you during the weekly journal because there are some commissions. And basically this is the only thing that I'm doing. Plus I'm learning for my driving license theory test, which is next week, and I'm pretty stressed about it because it's not that easy. I mean, it's difficult for me right now to keep focused and learning. I think with age you start to find difficult to remember stuff. But what I managed to do this week, and I think I will we will talk a bit more during this session about it. First I will show you what this sweater is, because last time I was wearing the sprinkle sweater, which is worked with centered single crochet or waistcoat stitch. And I started to use some leftover yarn that I had. I wasn't thinking that they will look nice together, but I think they are pretty nice. So this is a round yoke, and I'm following the same pattern, so to be like a mindless work for me, I don't need to think about the pattern. I'm simply following, which sometimes I find really nice to do. And the amazing thing with this one is that I'm using there are so different types of yarn, and thicker, thinner, so nothing it's equal, and I think it's nice. This one is super thin, for example, and it's merino. Then I have another merino, but which is, well, this one is thinner as well. This one is a bit thicker, which is the same yarn that I use in the original design. Then I have this one, which is also thinner, but a bit thicker. Then I have this, which is almost a chunky weight. I have this fluffy over here, so many different textures and fibers. And what I wanted, because this is a sweater that I didn't start it this week, but I worked I think 1-2 rows on it. um, but I wanted to show it to you because say it doesn't matter what you have, what you work with, it's only the joy of making. So if you don't think too much about, okay, and you keep trying doing stuff, you will end up with amazing things, I'm sure about it. And the next big thing that I started, big thing, well, I think it's a big thing that I started to work on this week is I started to work to the video tutorial of the Shining Pearl jumper. This is the front post stitches and back post stitches design. And let me show you the original sweater. So this is the original one. This one was a design that I made for Simply Crochet magazine, I think 3 years ago or maybe 2 years ago, I don't really remember. And the editor from the magazine told me, oh my god, it's a great design, but it was so difficult to check this pattern and make it work. And now this pattern is not only available on Simply Crochet magazine, but also available as an individual pattern of mine. And even if the magazine changed the pattern, I went with the original one. Oh my god, this is looking so nice. And there are a bit of questions that I got with this sweater, because it's weird. I'm starting with a different number of stitches. Even if the size is bigger, I'm starting with, for example, less stitches than on size small. And I want to talk, because it was a question last time about how you're thinking the raglan. So this is the raglan. On this one I started with less stitches on the sleeves, because as you can see, this one has pretty large sleeves. It's true that you can decrease on them. I don't think it's impossible, only that you won't have the full squares maybe on the underarm. What I did with this, because this one is really heavy, working in front post and back post stitches, you're getting a really heavy sweater. I think only for size small is like 700 grams of yarn, and this is worked in merino, so even more. And with this one I just wanted to end up with a lighter sweater, so using the same crochet hook size, which was 4.5 millimeter or size 7, but I'm using fingering weight yarn here. I hope that with blocking it will look even nicer, because this the other one is blocked, and it's true that this front post back post stitches are not looking perfect while you were working on. So this is the yarn that I'm using, is from Cascade yarn, and it's fingering, and I think it's Peruvian Highland wool. So it's wool from Peru, and it's kind of soft. I don't know, it's not that harsh wool that I'm used to, but it's not merino either, so it's something in between. And I really love the fact that it's lighter. I almost finished the yoke, and I just started the second skein. So one skein has 50 grams, so for sure it will be way more lighter than the original one. And I told you that I started with less stitches on the sleeve. So basically what you have to do when you're working with such a pattern, and what I did, so this pattern requires a multiple of 10 plus 1 stitches. Okay, so I'm making this square, this diamond of 9 stitches when is the biggest width. So 9 stitches plus 1, which is the one from the next one. So you need to from the next shape. So when you're thinking of working such a raglan design, you need to see each of the sides individually. So you don't need to think like a whole, you know, like the entire row. So when I'm thinking, okay, from front panel I need to start with multiple of 10 plus 1 stitches. For sleeve I need to start with multiple of 10 plus 1 stitches. And then after having this, and this needs to start from the collar itself, so from the neckline. And what you need to make sure, because this is what we need and what we care about the neckline, is to fit our head. And of course, after it fits our head, then you can think if you want a wider collar or a smaller collar or whatever. So after having this these measurements, you can then think how many stitches I will need for each of the sides, and then of course to adjust the number of stitches. Now after 3 years since I designed this, I think I will have more ideas when how to make it simple, because but I won't change that in the pattern, because this will be something else. Because the thing with square or rectangle raglans, it's that you cannot, I mean, in the regular way you cannot adjust the width of the sleeves. So basically when you are working, and this is what you need to have in mind with the square raglans, basically you are working, adding stitches, and the most important thing is that the bust, so the bust area to fit you. And then with the sleeves you might end up being too large if you're starting from here, from over here, with more stitches at the neckline. So either you adjust that starting from here, or you can start decreasing, but if it's too large, then it won't work. But the idea with the working with patterns, with stitch patterns, which requires a multiple of something, you need to think each side individually. So you don't need to think as a whole, you need to start and have that multiple for each section. So this is what I was working on, and you know that I told you that the worst part or the hardest part for in designing is writing the pattern. This pattern is so intuitive, so once you start working and see the stitches properly, you immediately can realize that what you need to do and how you need to do to work the stitches. So it's super intuitive and addictive, so it's fun to make and not that difficult. But the idea is that writing the pattern is crazy because well, an experienced crocheter might find it easier, because he can read a few rows or rounds, following the rounds, and then already know what to do. But if it's a beginner, or if it's a crocheter that is used to follow row by row a pattern, then I need to write it in that way, because otherwise that person won't be able to do it. And I don't want to put like skill levels or something. Well, I'm starting to, because people are asking for it, but because I want everybody to try to make it, you know. for sure you will be able to do it if you pay a bit of attention, or if you and you need to figure out on the road. Nothing can be everything can be fixed while working, I think. So it doesn't matter. For this one, for example, at the corner, you see that the shapes are getting each other pretty well. So here are the front posts, here are the back posts, but at some point I needed to do a double increase. So the increases are with double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in one stitch. But at some point, to have this number of stitches required, I needed to make a double increase. And of course that this is something that I figured out while I was working. Okay, I'm missing a stitch here, so maybe it will be an idea to add one. So everything can be fixed, and I'm happy that I will be able to show you how I am working on this. I kept up the pattern and joined around at the back, even if right now it's not such a visible line, but even if right now I will do it in the increase corner to be not to be that visible. So yeah, this is the idea with the rectangle, square raglans. Now I was telling that now I will do it differently, because since I started knitting, I realized that some techniques can be used in crochet, and I will show you a different. Okay, on the Varsity jacket, for example, which I have over here, it's also a square raglan, so you can see the front post stitches that I did it over here. By the way, this jacket is available in here on my channel and as a pattern. So what I did here, I did the raglan line, which is this front post stitch, and when I needed to make increases, I did it separately for the sleeves and for the body. So basically, before this raglan line, I had 2 stitches in which I increased one before, one after. And this is really easy to use, because in case if you don't want to increase anymore on the sleeve, because you don't need it to be too wider, then you can only increase in the body. With this type of increase, like double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, then you cannot do it otherwise. You will increase in both sides, body and sleeve as well. But with this method, it's easier because you can adjust that. And this is also important for bigger sizes, because what is the thing with the bigger sizes? It's that you need more width here on the body, but the yoke depth, it's not that such a big difference. So from size small, for example, to size 2 extra large, which is way much bigger, the difference between the bust width can be even with I don't know, 20 centimeters at least, but in the yoke depth you have 2-3 centimeters. So it's difficult to add 20 stitches only working a few more rows. Imagine how you will do in 5 rows to add 20 stitches, increasing only in one side or in one stitch. It's pretty impossible. So this is why this is good, because you can increase even more. For example, here the pattern requires increase every other row. So if you need more stitches, then you can increase at every row, or even working 3 stitches instead of 2 with the increases. And when you divide into the total number of rows, this won't look so yeah, this is the thing with raglan. That's why I think that if you want to, this is the Varsity jacket, which by the way, it's the perfect, starting to be the perfect weather for it. So yeah, that's why if you are like a, not a beginner, but if you love working the raglan or top down sweater, I think it's easier to adjust with a round yoke, but maybe we will talk in a different tutorial about it. I was thinking to start, but I don't know if with this weekly journals, but maybe it will fit because we will have something to talk about every week. Maybe to start working on a round yoke together, and but not like following a pattern, but just learn how to measure, what to measure, how to make the gauge swatch, how to calculate the number of stitches you'll need to start with, and different things like that. And maybe to start working together on a round yoke sweater, we will use simple stitches, so this will not be too difficult to work on together, and maybe share every week our progress and what we what we achieved about it, and I don't know, to talk, to answer questions if you have any about it. So maybe I will start it, but started with October because right now I'm really stressed with everything I need to do, and I don't really want to promise something and put it in my head, and then or on paper, and then realizing that I won't be able to do it because this will be so disappointed for me. So but I think it would be a great idea to learn together, find out, maybe of course maybe some of you have some other tips that you learned from other designer or from your own experience of working these types of sweater. But I think it would be a good idea, and main idea will be to use any yarn we have, so you don't need to think about the weight, about using a particular yarn. Just work with whatever you have, with whatever you feel comfortable to work with, because for example, I found it really difficult to start working with thicker yarn and bigger crochet hooks. I don't know, it wasn't feeling right for me, but now I'm kind of used to and like it, because for me I was thinking that working with a bigger hook with thicker yarn, everything will look too bulky, too heavy, was my opinion. But then I found out that I can play with the hook size, and that you don't need to follow the yarn label hook size or needle size recommended. You simply need to, and this is why it's important again to make a gauge swatch. You need to just swatch and see when you feel comfortable with the ended fabric, because this is worked with so I have worsted chunky DK with yarn in it, and I'm working with the 10mm crochet hook or size P. So, and it's super light, it's not like it's too heavy, so which is great. So yeah, I don't know what else to talk with you about today, because I didn't make too many things. I'm still working on the pattern that the colorful sweater. I graded, but I still wasn't able to put it in a page and have it done. I didn't took any photos with it, so still a lot of work with this one. And I'm planning, because so many of you were asking to be a tester for my designs, and this was the what I was thinking of to start off this summer. That's why I was finishing almost 3 projects were done by the beginning of September, and I was thinking I'll have enough time to just make tester calls for what I have, and to be able to give enough time to finish the project. But now I cannot do it, because to make a tester call, I need at least the draft of the pattern, which I don't have, and I want to release that colorful sweater in October, as a pattern for October, and I think that is too tight to let only 2-3 weeks for a sweater, even if it's working pretty fast. But thinking on the bigger sizes, it might be a bit difficult, especially because I'm not expected to be able to start right away. Maybe you have other projects that you need to finish or deadlines, so I don't want to do that. That's why maybe I will be able to start with this for the release in November, which might be the pants or other sweater, I don't know for sure. And if I will start being more organized with all this stuff, maybe this tester, or I wish to have a team. I'm so afraid that to build this up. I know that it's great to have a team of testers to help you out with the patterns, but and I dream of it, but let's see what it will be. So yeah, I have a lot of plans to start doing things. I have some yarn from Long Yarns, which is great and fluffy and colorful, and I'm thinking to do something. I'm dying of starting to knit something, because it was like I have so many projects, crochet projects, and I don't want to. I just want to have a break. This is a yarn that I got also from Long Yarns, and it's called Soho, and it's so colorful. And I'm thinking to remake the Mossy jacket, which is an old pattern. That pattern had an update, I think 2 years ago, but it doesn't have a video tutorial, only for the pockets, because it's a jacket with pockets, and I'm thinking to make a full one. I already started to swatch with this and see, because I will want to use 2 strands of yarn of this. The original design, in the original design I used 2 strands of DK weight yarn. This is not DK, this is worsted, or yeah, it's worsted, because the recommended needle list is 5.5 millimeters. So it's around worsted, heavy worsted weight, but I want to use 2 strands of yarns of this one, and the same crochet hook, which was 5 millimeters. So the 5 millimeter crochet hook will be smaller than the recommended one. So this is what you need to do. For example, why I'm doing this is working with 2 strands of yarn and still using a smaller hook is because I want the ended fabric. I'm making a jacket, and I want the final fabric to be thick and stiff like a jacket, you know. It's not super, you don't have, or you don't need some drapes, so you need those stitches to be tiny and one next to the other, so to have more like thick fabric idea that is more appropriate for a jacket. When I'm using a bigger crochet hook is because if you're making a sweater, you don't need that that thickness. You need to be soft, you need to be light. It's not like something that you're putting and taking it off. It's something that you wear for the whole day, and needs to be more comfortable. I'm not saying that a jacket is not comfortable, but it's not, you know what I mean. So these are a few things that I'm thinking of doing, but I'm trying not to start anything new, because I already started with this shining pearl jumper, working on the video tutorial, and this is adding extra time with it. with everything that it needs to be done by October. So yeah, we'll see. I'm thinking of, I didn't by the time I'm filming this, I didn't manage to do it, but until the upload time, maybe I will have time to do that. I want to put a link with a form, because this will be easier. I found it really difficult, for example, to announce the winners of the giveaway, because I only was able to comment or to give a reply to their comments, which if you don't have notification on YouTube, then you don't get an email that someone comment on your comment. So I'm thinking to just give you a link with a form, and to be able to fill it up with your email address and with the questions questions that you will have for the next week. And in this way it will be easier for me to just be more organized with all the questions that I will have, and also if I will have a contest or a winner, which by the way I might have something for you today also, because I found out when I was playing with the hooks that I still have a new boxy one, which is another swirl, and it's in a size H, which is more appropriate. So yeah, I hope that will put the form in the link below. Take a look to the description, because I will for sure tell you if I was able to make that form and to have opened this giveaway for this crochet hook. If not, I will work hard the next week to put it up and to let it for the next one. So yeah, keep an eye on the description. Maybe you can win another forest crochet hook, and can't wait to see you next time. And next time maybe we will start to talk about the round yoke, about what we need to measure, and to start this project together. But first, if I will have maybe I'll have a poll here on YouTube and ask you if you'll be interested to do that, and if many of you will, then we should do it. Why not? And maybe to talk a bit more next week, to set up a date and see how we can do that. I will ask for your suggestion, what we should do. Maybe to have a group chat together in some area, I don't know, Facebook or something. We will think about, but I would love to hear from you if you will be interested to do so and to participate in that. It will be fun, I think. Maybe we'll have some lives together and work together this thing. I don't know, I'm super excited about these sessions, and I'm happy that I'm able to talk with you every week. It feels really nice, believe it or not. I don't know why I waited so much time to do that, because it's really fun. Okay, so this was for it. I hope that you learned something about the raglan shapes. Of course, if you have questions, please ask me more about it, and can't wait to see you next time. Bye.